What's up guys, Shoryuken here, and before I get into today's video I just wanted to say thank you. I wanted to say thank you to the supporters I have. Again, I don't have a whole lot, but I definitely do have some, and I want to say thank you for all the support and love that some of you are showing me. I see it in some of the comments and the interactions and some of the videos being liked and just in the overall subscriber count. I never thought that I would have any kind of audience. I mean, I really don't. It's kind of pretty small, but still, for me, it's something. I'm very new to YouTube, and I really appreciate some of the support I'm getting here along this journey. So I just wanted to get that out there, and once again, just let people know if you are new to this channel and you're into Capcom content, specifically Capcom fighting games, then definitely subscribe, like, and think about sticking around. And if you aren't new, as I said earlier, once again, thank you, and let's continue on this journey. So, that's out of the way, let's get into today's video. I want to talk about Street Fighter 6. Once again, this game is going to be back into the headlights, as right now it's going on at the Japanese Expo, I believe, and then also they're going to be showing it at the San Diego Comic-Con, which I think is going on this week or next week, I forget which ones, when, but Street Fighter 6 is definitely back in the headlines. I've been doing a lot of videos on Capcom Fighting Collection. I love it. It's absolutely fun, having a blast with it, playing all the games, and I kind of want to just get back to, I guess, Street Fighter 6 and what's happening with that, seeing how it's been quiet for a little bit, and now we're starting to get more vids coming out, people playing game, we're seeing the game a lot more. Capcom did say, of course, that they would be going quiet after it seemed like, every day or every other day news about the title seemed to be coming out, but they did say that they kind of want to go quiet and just take the time to focus on the game, and then give little bits of information here and there. But I definitely think at some point they will be giving us more. Who knows, we might get a character trailer at the San Diego Comic-Con. I doubt it, but you have no idea. Anyways, Street Fighter 6 is back, and once again, people are kind of over analyzing, digging in, trying to look up any clues of what kind of game or what kind of extras will be in the game. Anything that kind of stands out, maybe in terms of characters that potentially could be revealed, or even just new gameplay mechanics or modes. One of the modes we do know that Capcom is touting or talking about is the World Tour mode. World Tour mode, as for people who have played Street Fighter, isn't new. At least the name isn't new, as in Street Fighter Alpha 3 we had World Tour mode. In Alpha 3 it was pretty straightforward mode. It was a single player gameplay mode, and you would take a character, you would essentially travel the globe, and you would just fight. You'd fight all the other World Warriors and Alpha characters in this mode, and then when you beat them, you would get to level up your character. Depending on how well you did in the match, if you scored a bunch of perfects, then you would get more points to level up your character, or if you met the criterias for certain matches, right? Certain matches had conditions, and you had to meet them, and then those would also grant you more points. And then after winning, you would get a little kind of customizable options. You get to put them on your character, maybe increase your guard break, or get rid of guard break, or increase the duration of how long you can guard, things like that, right? So it was really cool and fun. It was nothing over the top or anything, but it was definitely nice that they gave us something else to do outside of the typical arcade ladder match. So it seems like for Street Fighter 6, Capcom is going back to that. Thank you. Because one of the main critiques of Street Fighter and Street Fighter games in the past is that, as I said before, you didn't really have much to do, right? Outside of doing arcade mode and now going online, of course, there wasn't really much to do. Like for myself, who I'm a casual player, so I don't really play online, I mainly just pop in Street Fighter 5, do a round of arcade mode, maybe two, and turn the game off. So essentially my experience with the game is about like 15 to 20 minutes, right? Because let's be honest, the CPU in that game isn't really challenging, so you can kind of just breeze by it. So it's cool that they're actually thinking about giving us something else to do. So after we do beat the arcade mode or whatever mode we do, like we're training, we now have something else to kind of keep us occupied. So naturally with this mode, it has everyone thinking, okay, what is it? what's it going to be like, and what can we look forward to. There've been a couple of interviews here and there, and they're not really giving us a whole lot of information, which is understandable. You don't want to spill the beans yet. You want to build that hype, but they're still dropping little hints and tidbits. I know the director recently just said, essentially, Shenmue was a big experience because people were asking if it could be anything close to akin to what Shenmue was like, right? Because if you all don't know, Shenmue was a beautiful single-player RPG action game that came out on the Dreamcast and later re-released again on Xbox and PS4. And Shenmue, you just took a character who was named Ryo, and you travel around Japan, and then you would follow his story, right? You would occasionally fight people in the streets. You would level up your character as you learn new moves, and you got to practice and polish and hone your skills. And it was a really cool and unique game at the time, very groundbreaking. So Street Fighter producers said that they are clearly inspired by Shenmue and the things you can do in it, and I think that's really cool. Now, does that mean this mode is going to be like a single player Shenmue mode? No, it will not. We can just stop that right now. It is not. I think they're just saying the idea of a character roaming around the city and leveling up and training is what they're going to try to borrow from and use. So it got me thinking, what's the World Tour mode going to be like? Are we going to have that? Are we going to have characters where we can, create and customize, which looks like we will, and then, travel around the city? Travel around and meet the other Street Fighter characters, meet other important NPC characters, get into random fights with NPC characters or Street Fighters, actually learn moves on the fly, on the go, and then use these moves in combat, right? I know in the teaser trailer they showed, as you saw the character running around, the Sody character running around the city, and then at one point they did do a Shuriken or a Dragon Punch on like this barrel or crate and destroyed it, which is cool. And now I don't know if that was the actual move, like you just learned a move from the character, from Ryu, or if that was just an emote, right? Because certain games will do that where you can like do the emote of this, but doesn't mean you have the actual move. If you've all played Fortnite, and if you've picked Ryu has a Shoryuken emote, right? It's not exactly a move. You can't like just kill people with it or knock them out, but he does have the emote where he does a Dragon Punch in the game. So I'm wondering if they're gonna go ahead and do that for this. Hopefully not. Hopefully you have both. Hopefully it's the emote and you also get the move as well. But I do think there are going to be a lot of checks and balances with the moves you can do for your character, because I'm willing to bet you're going to be able to take these characters online. And if you're able to take these characters online, they have to make sure the game is fairly balanced. I don't think you're going to be able to just create and do whatever the heck you want in terms of moves anyways. Like, I can't just go in there and create some Ryu/Chun-Li hybrid that, has all of Ryu's moves, all of Chun-Li's moves, and I'm just stacked with like 5 supers, and it wouldn't be fair. So clearly there are going to be restrictions, and I think that you maybe could learn some things here and there, but I don't think that that's going to be where you can just like go crazy and kind of just customize your fighter however the heck you want to. Visually, of course, there probably will be some cool customization options, I should say. It's not going to be anything over the top. Don't expect anything that's really in depth, like Skyrim or Elden Ring or anything like that. It's probably just going to be, you could obviously change your hairstyle, hair color, a few faces, change your get up a little bit, but nothing really in depth, which is fine, because again, people don't play Street Fighter for the single player, for some like story mode or whatever the case may be. They're mainly playing for like the arcade, right? They're playing for the combat, the 1v1. So as long as that's nailed, and as long as the mechanics there are solid and sound, anything they do is just extra, right? It's just gravy on the cake. Or icing on the cake, I should say. I said graving on the cake. It just be icing on the cake. So they don't have to really go too crazy. Another big concern of mine that was addressed in these interviews, and I'm so happy, is that when they were showing these teaser trailers, whenever they would talk about it, they were always showing just Metro City, right? So naturally, I started to think like, oh man, are you just gonna be stuck in Metro City, and you're just gonna have sections of Metro City that are like, a Chinatown section or a Brazilian section, a Spanish section, whatever the case may be, right? And while I would still take that, I still was kind of scared that I didn't want it to get boring, right? I don't want it to be we're stuck in this one locale and everything always looks the same and you're doing the same things. So it looks like though they've pretty much calmed our fears as they said that no, Metro City is just one of the spots, one of the locales you'll be in. There will be other areas you'll be able to go and travel to. Metro City is just the start point, the focal point. So I'm super happy about that, as it looks like you will be able to go to other regions in the country or other countries, make believe, and get to experience the different areas there. It also got me thinking about what can be done, in these areas, in these zones, right? Walking around, talking with people is cool, but once again, I think that would get old quick. So I'm hoping that they give us a lot of content or activities to do in these cities, right? Number one, they can definitely give us mini games. Like you have a bunch of mini games from Street Fighter 2 and onwards, where you from destroying a car, destroying barrels, destroying, bricks, or you have the Sean Perry battle with pairing his basketball. They can have those mini games kind of spread out through the city or in different regions, and you can partake in those and kind of compete against people and your friends and see who has the better score. So I think that would be really cool if they did something like that, or also just make up brand new mini games and stuff, right? I just want activities, anything outside of just you fighting one-on-one, you know. Training, learning moves, leveling up moves, that's a given. That would be really awesome. And this is where the Shenmue, comparisons come in. It'd be cool if you can you learn the Hadouken or learn the Hurricane Kick, and then suddenly you can go to a section or a part in the city or even a gym and kind of practice these moves and hone them in and actually build them up and get stronger, right? Like actually level up your character. I think that would be awesome. But yeah, there are many things they can do with it. Many things. I think this mode is going to be the main way we are learning about the lore of Street Fighter 6, kind of explaining the interactions with different characters, the history of certain characters. I think we're going to learn, pretty much why everyone's there and what they're doing, the reason for what they're doing in this mode, right? Which is cool. I just hope it's not all played out here. I do want some of it to be played out in arcade mode or in an actual separate story mode, different from Street Fighter 5, because I did not like Street Fighter 5 story mode. I thought it was too safe and cookie cutter. But still, I do want something. I want the story to be told not just in the World Tour mode, but also outside of it. Again, nothing has been confirmed as well. This is me just throwing ideas and things that they're doing. They haven't really said much outside of the things I just said earlier. They're really keeping their lips tight on it, which they should, as you don't want to spill the beans quite yet. But the mode is really, it's got me excited. Definitely got me excited. I'm just loving how they're taking that extra step, right? For a while, it always felt like Capcom would do the bare minimum when it came to Street Fighter games or just their fighting games in general. I mean, they just now started adding these story modes, but when you play them, you can kind of tell that they're just phoned in, right? Whether you play the Street Fighter 5 story mode or you play the Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite story mode, it's very safe and simple, and honestly could be written from a 5-year-old. It's not really great. I mean, if you like it, fine, but for me, I did not. It was not my cup of tea, and I just could do without it. And in fact, Street Fighter 5, I didn't play the story mode. I just saw the clips online, and that was enough for me, because it just, to me, wasn't worth it. Unless you're telling me I have to do it to unlock this, that, and third, but it just wasn't worth it. So I just love what's going on, man. I'm loving the approach, and it just got me curious as to what this World Tour mode can be. I mean, all we've got to look back on it is Alpha 3, and it's probably going to be something like that, but just on obviously a grandiose, a wider scale, which I'm all for. And it's also just going to be probably your created character, as opposed to you taking an already existing character and just editing their attributes. So I'm all for it, man. I'm all for it. This is going to be awesome. At least it sounds going to be awesome, and I just want them to keep it up. And I said again, I just want them to also give us stuff to do, right? Give us stuff to do in the city. Don't make it that it's just this make-believe, mirage, oh, it looks like you can do this and that, it looks like you can go here, but you really can't. But with that being said, just want to go ahead and get my thoughts out on this World Tour mode, see what you guys have to think about it. So let me know in the comment sections down below if you guys, of course, are excited for the World Tour mode. I mean, if you're excited for Street Fighter 6 in general, also what you think the World Tour mode can be like and what you want to see in it. Do you want to see more activities like mini games and things to do, or are you okay with just kind of roaming around the city and just getting into random fights with people? Um, I would like to see, obviously both, but again, I'm just happy that this mode is coming out. I'm happy they're doing something different. So that being said, of course, I want to say thank you again for all the support that you guys are showing me. I want to keep doing this. Again, I didn't think that I would even have any kind of platform or any kind of voice, but from the little support I do have, it shows at least some people listen or find what I have to say interesting. So I definitely will keep going with that. So again, thank you all very much. And if you love Capcom as much as I do, then please stick around and join me on this journey. With that, I want y'all to take care and please have a wonderful rest of your day.